Welcome back, dear viewers, and we are still talking about the UNGA's 76th session that is currently held in New York under the theme of building resilience through hope to recover from COVID-19, rebuild sustainability, respond to the needs of the planet, respect the rights of the people, and revitalize the United Nations. And now we are joined by Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
So, Mr. Ambassador, also one of the important topics that was tackled during the sessions of the UN General Assembly is the issue of climate change. And President Fattah al-Sisi affirmed that Egypt is looking forward to hosting the 2022 UN Climate Change Conference on behalf of the African continent, saying that Egypt will work to make a significant turning point in climate in partnership with all parties for the benefit of the African continent and the world. How do you read this invitation launched by the President, and why is it important that Egypt hosts this summit?
It is always very important for us and for the UN, because as you well know, Cairo is the middle of everywhere in the world. So we are in Africa, we are Arabs, we are very near to Europe. So when President Obama wants to speak to the whole Islamic community, he came to talk to them from Cairo University. When the Europeans want to hold a meeting at the presidential level with Africa, they came to Cairo, and we have seen 68 presidents on the stage. So it's not something strange that Egypt can host such a conference. But from the technical point of view, of course, Egypt has a long history in the field of the environment, of course.
Yes.
And we have a sort of partnership with Europe concerning this. Europe helped us with our Ministry of Environment. We have a twinning program between Egypt and EU, in order to make our life easier, whether because of the traffic, because of the industry. We paid a lot in order to make our cement factories more healthy. Now we have the mega project to change our cars from using the liquid fuel to the gas or to electricity even. So we have experience, and we can share it with all our partners. And really, a good diplomat should look forward for such a conference.
Yes, Ambassador, Mr. Ambassador, the President also in his speech pointed to the Decent Life Initiative as an example of achieving the UN SDGs. How is it, and what are the goals addressed under the initiative?
As a matter of fact, we have to decide what do we need and what do we want, because we are suffering that the industry is polluting our life, especially the industry in the highly developed countries. I'm talking here about the United States and China. That's why the United States is not recognizing what we have agreed on the whole world about the industry. Europe is a little bit towards having a better environment. They are changing the exhaust of their cars to a more safe one. So it takes a long road to make a sort of common understanding between the highly developed industrialized countries and the other world. And we have to do this homework until we reach a point of understanding among all the partners, and that's our duty to do.
Yes, also the President affirmed the need to face terrorism and extremism through a comprehensive approach, saying that this requires national efforts and international cooperation. How do you see the need for a new comprehensive approach that includes social, developmental, and ideological dimensions?
We are doing a good job there, and the President also mentioned in his speech our efforts in order to develop our country and not only stay proud of the rate of our growth, but we want to have fair development also, that we develop our country at the same time. This has to give a fair to all the Egyptian citizens in our country. The poor classes, we are helping them directly, financially, education, healthcare, services, everything. So, sort of development, we don't want only development, but fair development and fair distribution of income. And I think that we are doing a good example for others, and some of our many partners in Africa and Arab world are benefiting from the Egyptian experience, especially since the economic reform which took place since November 2016.
Yes, also, Mr. Ambassador, the President during his speech highlighted the unjustified rejection that has stained the decade-long negotiations between Egypt, Sudan and Ethiopia on the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam dispute. So do you expect the UN to take stance regarding this issue?
Here, I must confess that we have a political issue,
yes,
not a technical one. If you study quite well the problem of the Ethiopian dam, you will find that there must be a sort of any difference technically. The rain coming over Ethiopia is much more than the needs of the three countries. We have almost 1,000 billion cubic meters.
Yes.
From 1,000 billion, we need 57. So, same time, Ethiopia doesn't want to use the Blue River Nile water because they are covered by the rain by 99.5% for all their land. Then when they choose the place where to build the dam, it is up to the north, and the water in this place doesn't go to the south. So even they cannot make use of the water if they stop it. The only use of such a dam is to generate electricity by passing the water to the north. Thank you. This would be something good for Egypt. I think there is a political problem behind all of this, and this is not the only problem with Ethiopia since some time. And we hope that they come to reason, and at a certain stage, Egypt offer them that we build the dam and we buy the electricity. And mind you that we are now combining and connecting the electric net from Baghdad in the far east to Rabat in the far south, the far west side, and from Alexandria till Tanzania, till Congo. Sudan also is joining us. So we hope that Ethiopia can come to reason and let us help them. The problem is not technical at all, the problem is political, and that's why we need a sort of mediator, whether the mediator would be the African Union or Algeria or Tunisia or even the United Nations.
Yes, also today the United Nations, under the leadership of the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, the UN Food Systems will take place on Thursday, and it's also going to be a virtual event. So how do you see the importance of this summit, the UN Food Systems Summit?
As I said before, that we are really welcoming summit in Egypt. And Cairo is a very busy city concerning summit. So it is one additional participation from the Egyptian side to help our world in all fields which we are interested as Egypt and interested as a good active member of the whole world community. Welcome to those conferences, and we have a very good relation with the Secretary General. We were among the important countries who voted for his election when he came for the job. So we have very good relations with all the parties, and let us hope to continue like that.
Yes. So also, Ambassador, one final question about the developing countries and African countries, as the President called for debt relief for these developing countries under the leadership of the United Nations, especially that those countries have suffered from the repercussions of COVID-19 pandemic. So how can the UN help African countries at this stage?
Not only the epidemic. Yesterday, I was lecturing at the Nasser Military Academy for 40 generals coming from different places in Africa. And we were really talking about how Africa is really not treating well from the developed countries. Africa is sending money to the developed world much more than it receives, because it pays its debt, it pays its invoice of imports, and no serious investment to compensate this, no serious imports from Africa to compensate this. That's why we are trying our best to bring investment from the whole world there, from Europe, from China, from Japan. All of these partners agree with what we are doing. And now we are two other fronts. We are fighting the problem of the epidemic itself and how to treat it, and of course the medicine process. The other is the economic impact of the disease, because it affects most of the countries in the world. But Egypt was lucky that still our growth will continue positively, and we have to give this experience to our brothers and partners. And here we are trying to make the United Nations member states aware of this effort and to double it and to help us also while we are helping our African brothers.
Okay, I'd like to thank you, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you, sir, for being with us. And by that, dear viewers, we come to the end of today's edition of Cairo Local Time. Thank you for watching.
دولا غنية بمواردها الطبيعية.